Welcome to another whiteboard session. Today we're going to talk about success. What is success? In a society where being busy 24/7 has become a badge of honor, we are being taught that movement plus speed equals success. Because if that is the definition of success, then you'll find every single person out there that is claiming to be success. Why are they feeling unfulfilled? So let's look at redefining what success is. Because for you to be happy in life, you have to live life based on your definition of what life is. What you can't define overwhelms you. And most of us have never taken the time to define the things that we're chasing in this world. And the easiest one here is success. Everybody wants to be successful. I've never met a single human being that does not want to be successful. But how many people do you know that are successful? A majority of people that you talk to, that you admire from a distance, people that have the cars, they have the homes, they have the businesses, they have wear the labels, they have big accounts, they go on holiday. How many of these people do you talk to when you acquaint yourself with them and then you realize that they're not as happy as I thought that they are? So we're going to go through a 5-point step to determine what success is, because at the end of the day, the Bible clearly says that the richness of God comes with peace attached to it. Being successful and being anxious, being fearful, being uncomfortable, then automatically that means it's not success at all. The first one that we're going to look at one here is alignment. In a world that tells you that movement plus speed equals growth, most of us don't rest. Most of us are working 12, 14 hours a day. Most of us are working non-stop. They only take 3 weeks 3 weeks of leave a year, and even being on break, they still don't stay away from their smartphones, their emails. They're constantly on the run. Now think of an athlete, a professional athlete, a very, very successful professional athlete. Think of whoever comes to mind. Think of Messi. Think of Ronaldo. Think of MJ, Michael Jordan. Think of Tiger Woods. Think of all the big greats. These people, they have easy a 5-year period that they have to make as much money as possible before they retire. And if they don't invest that time, because their period to make money is very, very limited. Now, a successful sports person has a coach, they have a psychologist, they have a physiotherapist, they have a chef, they have a money manager, they have a manager, there's a team. Some of them have a wife, they have a girlfriend, they have a mother. They have a team of people behind the scenes that makes this man's life successful. And in doing that, they train. An average sports person trains 90% of the time for him to be able to perform 10% of the time. Now, that simply means that a good sports person has only 5 years of his life for him to make it. And if he doesn't invest that money well and is past his sell-by date, then automatically it means that he'll be broke for the rest of his life. Now, let's look at majority of us human beings as athletes of life. Majority people will work, if you are lucky, most people even at 50 still don't have that financial break. And you're still working 12, 14 hours a day. And then you have only 3 weeks a year where you take or go on holiday. And on that period when you're on holiday, you still don't stay off your phone. People can still reach you. How long do you think you're going to work without completely being burned out? And that's where we say this formula that we've been given, that we're following, that's why most people, they get to the top of the ladder and they realize that the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. The most important thing here is alignment. Success only rewards alignment. And when it comes to alignment, I'm talking about your personal, your professional, and your private life needs to be aligned. And that's where peace comes in. But the majority of us don't. So you have to take time and study yourself. You have to take time and align yourself. Everything outside has to align with who you are as a person. Number two is know thyself. We live in a world where they teach us about everybody else. School teaches you about everybody else. They teach you about everything else, but nobody ever takes the time to teach you about you. Now, remember, you're the tool. You're the only thing that you're going to use to make it success in this world. You're the only thing that you have to master for you to maximize being in this world. Irrespective of how long you live, 75 years, 85 years, 90 years, 100 years, it's a very short span of time if you look at an evolutionary point of view. Now, if you've never studied yourself, how often do you think you're applying yourself to the best of your ability? Most of us don't even know what our values are. Most of us don't even know what principles we live by. Most of us don't even know what we want, because you cannot know what you want until you know who you are. And this is one of those things that we have to know. Easy things, most of us don't even understand what our habits are. You cannot change your life until you change something that you do on a daily basis. Habits are the roadmaps to success. You don't become successful one day. You become successful one day at a time. So if you don't know what habits, the things that get you into being unhappy, the things that get you into spending money that you don't have, the things that get you into breaking your relationship, those are habits that you have to study, because the things that you're looking at, those are effects. Habits are the cause. Most people don't understand that. And when it comes to habits here, habits are simply your automatic responses. This is how you think. This is how you live. This is how you act. That becomes your life. Most people never take the time to know who they are. And when it comes to being successful, you have to take that time. Find out who you are. Find out what you like. Find out what makes you tick. Find out what are you comfortable doing. Because becoming successful is defined simply by what is the one thing that you can comfortably do 10 to 12 hours a day without getting bored. We're not talking about passion. We're talking about things that you can do without being paid. Then look at that and look at what are the richest people in the world. What are the simple things that they do on a daily basis that makes them rich? Now, that intersection is where you find yourself and you start building yourself. Number three is confronting the past. If you look at our lives, we live our lives in three time dimensions. We live in the past, we live in the present, and we live in the future. And the unfortunate thing here is your present should define your past, not your past defining your present. And the unfortunate thing with the majority of people is we've let the poison of the past seep into the present and poison the future. Most people are constantly either living in a state of regret, things they didn't do, things they missed out, things they did wrong, or constantly living in a state of anxiety because they are panicking. They are fearful of the future. And this is purely because majority of us have never. You can reframe your future. Use your present to reframe your past. You cannot use your past to define your present, because if you do that, it limits you. If you do that, it takes away the sting from you, from your be of creating the kind of future that you want. So use your present to define the past. Confront the things that are limiting you. Confront how you came up. Give it a different meaning. If you come up from a background where your father was abusive, change that meaning using the present, because that's how you got where you are. If you come from poverty, if you didn't go to school, use your present to define your past rather than allowing your past to define your present, which robs you of your future. Number four is define your success. What is enough? We live in a society where more is celebrated. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday that has got an eight-figure business with a 60% profit margin. But after going out for dinner with him, and this is a guy that has got three beautiful homes, a home here in Joburg, a home in Cape Town, he's got a home overseas, he's got some of the fanciest postcards that you'll see in his garage. And he was telling me how much money problems he's got. I mean, sitting there, I couldn't really understand what he was talking about, because the problems he's talking about are the things he went out to get for himself. But the question is, how many cars does he really need? How often does he visit these homes that he lives in? Because he's not defined what his success is. He's not defined what enough is enough for you, because enough for me is not enough for you. It's not enough for somebody else. And until you put your foot down, draw a line in the sand, draw it right there and refuse with a permanent marker. This is what I'm going to achieve, and when I get there, that is enough. I'm going to do this and that. It makes it much easier. But people don't. We're busy chasing other people's definition of success, and the more we acquire, the more these things start running us. Whatever it is that you have in your life, unfortunately, it is supposed to be there to serve you. But the minute you become a slave to it and you start serving it, it takes the joy away. Now, always remember, God has given us the ability, God has created us to use things but love people. But the unfortunate situation right now is we love things and use people. And that's where we have this disconnect. We are abusing the people around us, and the things we're loving in our lives, the cars, the homes, can't love us back. So we're not feeling that warmth. We're not receiving back what we give. It's only another human being that can love you back. It's only a living thing that can give you back what you resonate in the world. And the last one here is roots before fruits. Most people, unfortunately, have never defined what values they live by. Most people don't have principles. Principles. For you to be successful and be a happy person, your life must be defined by divine principles. And when we talk about this, we're talking about God's principles. You must have your own personal values, things that you live by. And then you have to decide, what are God's principles? God's principles, for you to be happy, I call it the 3 C's. Number 1, you need to be creative. God is a creator. Number 2, you have to contribute. Number 3, you need to have a community. We find this in the book of Genesis. These 3 things make it much, much easier for you to be happy. If you're missing any of these, automatically, you're going to be disconnected. When it comes to values, you have to decide what are the most important values for you. One of my values here is integrity, honesty, and contribution. Of course, family. It all varies from person to person. But if you don't have principles, you don't have personal values, then all of a sudden your life becomes like a flag that is swinging in the wind. It gets swayed wherever the wind blows. So out of this, where do you feel that you need to work on? Which of this resonates with you, and which of this does not make sense? God bless you. Take care, and I would love to hear your comments in the comment section. Catch you and see you soon.